Here in Chapter 3, the Demonic Pantheon, we are greeted with the names of the 9 great demon princes: Satan, Belagor, Versal, Aspid, Enoch, Inar, Death, Nik, and Mafwa. The demonic pantheon as a whole, that is the amalgamation of demonic power, is usually called the devil. The leaders of the princes, also known as the devil's trinity, are Satan, Belagor, and Versal. The devil's trinity is headed by the great prince of Satan, and all of them are fallen angels who earlier served as assistants to God in heaven and performed various tasks in his orders, but one day they started a riot to remove God from the heavenly throne. After the fierce battle ended, God cast them down to earth, or rather into its bowels, and they were reborn as demons. And then the subcategory, or subsection, is all about Prince Satan, which I'm not going to go over all of these. Satan should be common knowledge by now. And then we got Prince Belagor. Talks about he was God's first assistant in heaven, and he held a very high position in the heavenly hierarchy of angels. And then God replaced him with Satano, and Belagor harbored a fierce grudge against God. And it just goes on a little bit more about him. And then Prince Versal, who is third in the Pantheon. He was a member of the Council of Angels in Heaven. At Sentinel's first appeal, he went to his side and took part in the rebellion against God. He was also cast down to earth by God, as a result turned into a demon. He is strong and powerful. He likes to patronize mages loyal to him. So basically, if you are a practitioner, he's the one that you want to keep as a Patreon. And then we go into Prince Aspid, and he controls all the evil spirits of the expanses and depths of water. He is known as, in Old Slavic tradition, as the Demon of Water. It is believed that he can be seen in the daytime and can appear as an old man covered with moss, mud, and marsh grass, but much larger than an ordinary man. He can be covered with gray hair and have horns on his head, or take the shape of a huge catfish. But other than that, he can assume any form he likes. He is accompanied by his travels with assistance in the depths of the sea, and can be seen into the ruins of flooded cities and villages. It is believed that his assistants drown beautiful young women. He later brings these women to live with him, transforming them into demonesses. They in turn seek human souls by luring men into water and drowning them. And then it talks about Kapala night, the night of July 6th, when the demon Aspid is reputed to have been born. According to popular belief, people should not bathe while drunk on this night because the water demon may drown them. This rule does not apply to mages. On the contrary, they are encouraged to bathe while drunk. And it gives a little information at the bottom on Kapala Night. And then we have Prince Enoch. He creates irrepressible lust and debauchery in people. He tears families apart by inciting couples to infidelity while arranging quarrels and turmoil in their families. He also pushes people to a passion for drinking and gambling. He is always cheerful and reckless at any time of the day and night, but he's most powerful at night. Typically, he's like to seduce many people. He too also patronizes mages by giving them lesser demons as personal protectors for their dark deeds. And then Prince Erna, which is 6th in the Pantheon. He is basically your forest demon, and which includes swamps, forests, flora and fauna. And then we go into Princess Death, the 7th in place, and this is where we get a lot of information on Princess Death, the mistress of the cemetery. And this is what really stood out to me as a possible similar energy to Santa Muerte. And then we have Prince Idik, the 8th in the Pantheon of Demons of Russian black magic. He's the great black Prince Idik. After he was cast out of heaven with the other fallen angels, he turned to a demon and settled to the depths of the earth. He very rarely comes to the surface of the earth. When he does, he appears in the guise of a gigantic horned beast on 4 powerful paws, dragging a long, thick tail behind him. Indic causes earthquakes, natural disasters, and terrible destruction. He seeks to bring death, suffering, and unhappiness to all the people and life forms in the old days. In the old days, mages who wished to conjure earthquakes, natural disasters, and destructions appealed to him. And then we have Prince Wafa, who is the 9th, and said that Satan appointed him as keeper of all the treasures of earth in recognition for his instability. He is the demon of avarice and profit and envy. And that concludes the 9 princes and princess of hell. Then we go into another subsection called Home of the Demons, which is more or less talking about the underworld, hell, and all that, and the circles of hell. And yeah. And we finally come to the last half of the first section, chapter 4, the 3 forces, the soul, and Satanism. This starts off with talking about the teachings of the mages, that there are 3 forces. The first is God, the Heavenly Father with his saints and angels. The second is Satan with his demonic army. And the third is Death, who controls ghosts and spirits and graveyard demons. And then we go into the first section, subsection called The Origin of the World, where it talks about the creation of the world. And then we go into the next one, which is The Origin of Man, from a black magic point of view. And then the next one is Fate and Predestination. Of course, there is no real freedom in the broad sense of the word. We all die sooner or later, and therefore at least some of us will fall into the realm of death, the seventh circle of hell. The rest will be absorbed by the forces or attached to them, either to God or his irrepressible son, Satan. We are not free to choose our parents, though I'm sure the Hindus would disagree, or our place of birth. Of the few of us who are sent back to earth to attract new souls to the devil, we are not given the right to choose to be reborn, or the place and time of our rebirth. Mages recognize the power of occult rites and the possibility of changing the natural course of events. However, it is known that even a death curse does not guarantee a person's rapid death. Because there are healers, sometimes God does not allow a particular person to be removed from the earth if he needs him for something else. For example, saints and the apostles are suppliers of new souls for the Heavenly Father, and no mage, however powerful, can oppose the very King of Heaven, the origin of all power. And then the next subsection is, what is the soul and what is it to the devil and God? Which is just more ideology on good versus evil. And then we go to the next subsection, Russian black magic, paganism, and modern Satanism. Russian black magic is a religious system based on the foundation of heretic ideas and specific pantheon of Satan and demons, and as we will see later in the book, well-defined spell work and collaboration with demons. Though Russian black magic shares some features and common background with modern Satanism, they are not the same. And that's one of the things I want to point out, that when I was reading this, I didn't get the sense of anything that has to do with modern concepts of Satanism at all. I got that old world feeling. If you know what I mean, like, you get that sense of immeasurable time. If that makes any sense. And then in the rest of the subsection, she goes on to talk about LaVey and his idealistic viewpoints of Satan. And this goes on for quite a bit. And yeah, we end the chapter with the philosophy behind paganism and Satanism worldviews is similar and includes positive freedom and creativity and relies on the experiences of all previous generations, both positive and negative, during the triumph of Christianity. In addition, Satanism uses the rich legacy of paganism, and pagans use modern philosophical ideas, including Satanism, what distinguishes these worldviews are not their external manifestations, but the absence of dogma determined behavior. And that is going to end this first half. I hope you've enjoyed this little rundown of the first part of the book. Basically, a lot of information, and I mean a lot of information. But like I said, there is a lot of information, and most of it is just kind of stuff that's already been said to a point. But the only thing I can say is that it comes from a Slavic point of view instead of the basic regular, I don't know, atheistic versus theistic point of view, I guess. That's the best way to say it, I guess. I don't know. But, yeah. I'm kind of glad that, like I said, that a lot of the stuff with the Satanism is not from the modern concepts and is based more or less on the the spiritual aspects, which I appreciate because I am a spiritual person. And I will say that one of the big things about it is that it is not trying to fill in for the Goetia on any sense of it, because you can't, it seems like you can't mention these demonic names without bringing up the Goetia. And even though Satanism is not my bag, I do enjoy learning about it, and every time I do, the Goetia comes up, and I'm like, ugh. And then it goes into this whole weird section about King Solomon and all that, and I'm just like, no. But, enough of my yakking. I'm going to wrap this up. That was an overview of the first half. The next half will be split up into quite a few videos, which will be black magic and spell work. So we have 7 chapters in that, so stay tuned for that. I want to thank you all for watching. Thank you all for listening. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, please feel free to leave them in the comment section down below. If you want to come find me on social media, my links are in the description. And do remember that this is just an overview of the review. There is a lot of stuff to cover. So, but I do want you to go out and buy your own copy. Buy them both. I guarantee. Love you all. Bye.